Hello everyone, my name is Max and I'm documenting the process of learning Persian in 2022 here on YouTube. I'm also learning other languages, but I'm mainly doing this, and the idea is to make my language learning as transparent as possible so you can learn from it and you can help me and I can help you and you can motivate me. And that's why in this video I'd like to share with you my study plan for the rest of 2022, and also I'll put a link in the description with a PDF file, and you can just download the study plan and check it out for yourself. Now the rest of this video I will first show you the plan itself, then I will tell you exactly why I am making that plan in that way, and I will also be sharing with you the theoretical background that I always keep in mind when I make a plan like this. It looks like this. Here you can see it's the study plan of Persian 2022, and then on the left side you see the number of the days. So it starts at day 238 because that's the 26th of August, and that's when I decided to make it a plan a little bit more professional for you to share. Okay, so I'm going to put the link in the description so you can just open this in a PDF file and you just can read it like tranquilamente. You can just read it slowly for yourself. So I start with day 238, and this plan ends all the way over here where you can see that is day 365, so exactly 1 year, and then I want to have studied 300 hours, okay? And I'll tell you why later. The second column is the date, of course, and then the third column is kind of a journal, okay? So it says information about the study, so I just write down whatever happened that day, how I felt, what I felt like doing, what I didn't feel like doing, what was going well, what was not going well, etc. Right? Then here you can see the fourth column is the amount of minutes I spent studying a song on that particular day, the amount of minutes I spent studying a video, the amount of minutes I do classes, I follow classes online or on Zoom or whatever, and these are the minutes, and this is the most important, these are the minutes that I spent using LingQ. Now LingQ is my favorite language learning application, and I will show you a little bit about how it works. I will show you my profile, and I also will be telling you why I'm using it. Now then, of course, that's all added up here in the total amount of minutes and the total amount of hours, and then that's all added up here, the total amount of hours spent on Persian in 2022, which is 175.8 hours now, and I want to get up to 180, as you can see here, by the 5th of September. So I'm a little bit behind again, and that I've noted down in the goal hours, hourly goal. Then here, just in case you're wondering, this is the total hours I spent on Persian in 2022 since I made this Excel document. Okay, so that's 7 hours. Okay, so why do I want to have studied 300 hours? Well, the main reason for that is that time is the biggest indicator for your progress, so my progress in language learning. Okay, so if I've spent a certain amount of time, I know I'm going to be better. While when I would set a goal, for example, in terms of words I've read, or books I've read, or conversations I've had, then one day I'll be doing very well, and another day I'll be doing not very well, or some conversations are easier than others. Also, you cannot really keep track of conversations or books in terms of difficulty and how well it's going. But hours are very easy to track, and it is also very motivating, because even when you feel very frustrated with the activity you are doing, you still know you are going to be better, because at the end of the day you can put it in your plan, and that just gives a good feeling, you know. Now this is not just my idea, okay? This is definitely supported by a lot of people, and I'd like to show you first one man, who is called Krashen, that would completely agree with me in this regard. Okay, and to tell you a little bit about his thesis and why it supports what I'm saying here, I first need to show you the application I'm talking about, which is LingQ. my profile, as you can see. I have now 685 known words, and you can see here all kinds of lessons. So what I do with these lessons is I click on them, for example, the mini stories. And what I do is I listen.
آیا مژده و لیلا تصمیم
And I read, I click, and translate the words. So this word, for example, here means, in English, it means decrease, okay? So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to understand the story, both in text and audio. And that's why I love LingQ, because it's all about content, okay? So content is king. And that is something that this man, Stephen Krashen, all the way back in 1970s, already said. That is, if you want to learn a language, you need to understand things in the language while you are studying, and then you are learning. So you start with easy things, words, sentences, and then you move on to more complicated things, like stories, books, podcasts, movies. But there's a problem there, actually, because when you are just reading things and just listening things, then how do you know you're getting better, right? At least when you're studying a list of words, or when you're writing a text, or when you're doing an exam, you know that you're improving. But when you're just consuming content, and content is king, then how do you know you're progressing? Well, you do that by tracking how much time you are spending with the language. And the more time you are spending with interesting and fun content in your target language that you understand, the better you get. Now, as soon as you can read a newspaper, a book, and understand a podcast in a language, you will also be able to have conversations. So he says, content is king. So that is exactly why I'm focusing on, with this app, getting into my system as many words in sound and in text as possible for 300 hours. I did the same for other languages as well. As you can see here, don't look at English and Dutch because I didn't use the app for it. But you can see I learned many words for German, French, and Spanish also with by using LingQ. This is who he is. Stephen Krashen is an American linguist, educational researcher, and activist. Professor at Education University of Southern California. It says Krashen has been an advocate for more activist role by researchers in combating what he considers the public misconceptions about bilingual education. So, how is it possible that people, for example, still think that studying grammar rules and lists of vocabulary is actually going to get you somewhere? Well, he wants to fight against that, and this is his opinion on learning languages.
To begin my presentation this afternoon by talking about what I think is the most important issue in language education, the most important question, and that is, how do we acquire language? And I'd like to begin this discussion, this presentation, with an outrageous statement. In my opinion, we all acquire language the same way.
When we understand content. So that's why I'm using content to understand more Persian and therefore to be better at speaking. And this application LingQ is not by coincidence formatted in this way, because the founder of LingQ actually uses this message himself, and that is Mr. Steve Kaufmann. So Steve Kaufmann, this man, is a Swedish-born polyglot. So he speaks many languages, okay? French, Mandarin, Cantonese, Japanese, Korean, Russian, Swedish, German, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, Ukrainian, Czech, Slovak, and Romanian. He also learned some Greek and Turkish, and he is currently learning Arabic and Persian. Now I'm learning from him when he learns Persian and how he learns Persian by using his YouTube channel. Okay, and here you can see that he's also doing that with LingQ. Now these two guys, okay, Steve and Stephen, they also know each other, because Stephen Krashen, for his linguistic studies, he actually studied Steve Kaufmann, the prominent scholar of language acquisition. Stephen Krashen, he has praised Kaufmann, as he says, really good, no question, and has said that he has been my language therapist, helping me. So this man, Steve Kaufmann, who knows many languages, used the basic idea of Stephen Krashen to learn his language. And this idea is content is king. Everybody learns by getting input. So that's what I'm doing for 300 hours, and I suggest you do the same. Now, there is only a third thing that I'm going to do. If you have been following me, then you actually know what it is. And that is, I'm also studying a song. And I think I should also explain why I'm doing this, because after all this talk about input, why am I studying only one song when it's better to maybe study a lot of songs if content is king, right? Let's go to my little PowerPoint presentation. I have no science to back it up, okay? This is just my own experience, my own ideas. As a teacher and a Cambridge English examiner and a language learner, I think I know something, but there's no research to back it up. There must be tons of research about it, but I just haven't read it, okay? Now, the power of learning things by heart. Why would you do it? Well, first of all, knowing one text, song, poem, or even a phrase by heart means you have now a special emotional bond with that particular collection of words. Sorry about the misspelling here. Second reason is you will probably never forget it, okay? So the nightmare of language learners is that if they don't study for a while, they will forget everything. Well, that's true. Only if you really learn the complete song by heart, you will never forget it. Really. I still know songs by Eminem, in English of course, the rapper I mean, that I studied 10 or 15 years ago, okay? And thirdly, knowing a text by heart means you recognize the words of that text, poem, or song instantaneously. And therefore, the letters from the script, in the case of Persian, as well. So if I see a word that is also in the song that I'm studying, I will recognize it immediately, because I've studied the song so much that I don't even need a second to realize that it's a certain word. And that's really, really powerful. And I think you cannot achieve the same thing as quickly with quantity of content as when you study one piece of content in a qualitative manner. Now, I'm going to keep going, of course, and if you made it till the end of the video until now, then please let each other know and let me know in the comments what your language goals are in 2022 and how you are planning to achieve that. So just for everybody to see what kind of different plans there are out there, and also try to give some detail about what steps you are taking to really get there, you know. And I will be reading all the comments as always, and I will see you when I speak better Persian.